Corey here with another LiveTime video. Today's video is going to talk about how I can connect to EventTracker if I don't want to plug it in through an Ethernet cable, which I'd have to run all the way out to wherever I have it on the track, and it could definitely get cut if a drone runs into it. And I also don't want to hook this thing up to this wireless router, which works. Problem is, it takes up a channel that otherwise might interfere with a video channel I'm using for drones. So I'm going to show you an alternate way to use FTDI antennas to hook this up and run and configure EventTracker without using this Wi-Fi router or an Ethernet cable. So I'm going to go and I'm going to order some antennas and show you what I get. Okay, so you can see here that I've gone to eBay and I've ordered myself a few of these radios here, these FTDI radios. When you order them from eBay, they typically come with one side that's got a USB end and a antenna, and the other end, which is mainly made for hooking up directly to something like an iLap or a TrackMate decoder. The thing is, on the EventTracker itself, we need one end to have USB, and then on the computer, we need the other USB. So I actually ordered two sets. You might be able to go to eBay and ask them to create two of these, both with USB ends, but this is ultimately what you need. So these things move aside, as well as this, and what you're left with is two of the USB devices. The fact that they both say ground is fine. You can have them both set up this way. One's going to go into the computer, and one's going to ultimately go into the EventTracker. The next step then is to plug these babies in, make sure they talk, and configure them through Mission Planner. Okay, the next step here is that we've got to actually hook up our antennas to the computer so we can program them. They're both USB, so we're going to plug them in to get power. And you're going to notice that when I plug the first one in, that it'll light up for a minute, and then the light on it is going to start. You can hear the sounds for Windows hooking it up. It starts flashing. When that light's flashing right there, it means it's powered, but it's not talking to the other antenna yet. So you'll need to do that by plugging in the other antenna in. So you can see here I am. I'm going to plug this into another USB port in the same computer. It doesn't need to be the same computer, though. It just needs to be a computer or something with USB to give it power. What you're actually going to do is you're going to program one of the antennas, and then through the antenna to the other one, we'll program the second one. So you can see now that both of them have a solid light. That means that they're both connected and talking to one another. Later on, when we put one of these into the computer and the other one into the EventTracker, this is exactly what you're looking for, a solid light showing that both of the devices are talking to one another. All right, now with this connected, we can go into Mission Planner and program these antennas. Okay, so now we've hooked up our antennas to the computer. They're powered up, and now the next step is to open up Mission Planner, which should already be installed on your computer. If you haven't, I'll provide a link for you to be able to download it. Okay, so now that we're here, the next step is to connect to the antennas and to program them. Once you open Mission Planner, the next thing you want to click is Initial Setup, and then click on Optional Hardware and open up this radio option right here. Now at first you're not going to see anything filled in. That's because you actually have to connect to the devices first and pull their settings down. To do that, you're going to use the options in the upper right corner. There's a drop down here that lets you select the COM port that you plugged your device into. If you're unsure of what that is, you're going to want to open up Device Manager in Windows. And here, I'll just open it up real quick here just to give you an idea of what this looks like here. Okay, so here's your Device Manager, and when you expand on the ports COM and LBT, you should see something to this effect. And by the way, if you want to know which one that you're actually tied to, if you unplug one of the antennas, what will happen is the Device Manager, it'll go away and refresh. Now I'm going to plug one of the antennas back in. And now you see it. So just in case you're wondering what COM port your device is attached to, once you plug it in, there you go. Okay, I'm going to close out Device Manager, and I'm going to find the COM port for the device I'm at. So I'm going to select COM4, and the next part is the baud rate, and this gets a little bit tricky because you do need to know the baud rate of the device that you are using. So I believe the default for these is 115.200, and that is actually the speed that you want to set these things to. So it's very important that the baud rate match the device and what it's expecting. So when plugging it into EventTracker, it is expecting this speed. So either your devices need to be set to that, or if they're not, we have to connect to it and change it to be that baud rate speed. So I've already set these up for this rate, but I'm going to connect to it just to show you the process. So now once I select the COM port and I select the speed, I'm going to hit load settings. And when I do that, you'll see it says connecting here, and what it's doing is it's talking to your antenna through the COM port and then through the antenna to your other antenna, which is your remote. And both of these shortly are all going to be filled in. Okay, fantastic. So now I know that I've successfully talked to my antenna and to the other antenna because all this data is filled in. If you hit this button and it doesn't connect, most likely the problem is your baud rate that you're trying to talk to it is incorrect. So definitely look at when you got the device what the baud rate was, and try changing it and connecting again to see if you can get it to go. Now the next thing you want to do here is you want to program the antennas. So if the baud rates that are shown here are not 115, and by the way, this is like shorthand for 115.200 for the full thing. You'll notice the numbers here are much smaller than the numbers on here, just to make it confusing for you. But this is how it works. So you select the 115 on both of these, and then additionally under Mavlink, you're going to want to set this to raw data. Just so that we're making sure that we're talking the same protocol back and forth. Once this is set, then you're going to go ahead and hit Save Settings. And what this is going to do is it's going to talk to both your antenna again through the COM port, and then talk to your other antenna through the air, and it's going to program these things up. So you're going to hit Save Settings. Again, once you do it, you'll notice the program kind of freezes for a minute because it's actually doing the connecting. You're going to see this doing command ATT, which is telling it, hey, I'm pushing out these commands to these antennas to program them. And really what you're doing is you're waiting for this to be finished. Okay, and this is what you're looking for. You're looking for it to say done. At this point, you have successfully programmed the antennas and now can proceed to plug one of them into your computer and one of them into EventTracker and get it talking with LiveTime.
Okay, so the next step here is that now that we've got these antennas all configured, I'm going to plug one into the computer and one into EventTracker. So just to show you what this looks like real quick, here's one plugged into a USB port on the computer, and here I've fired up my EventTracker, and you'll notice that it is powered up. You can hear the fans running. The antenna's here as well. Also notice that the light is solid and not flashing. That means there's a connection between this and your computer. You'll also know that I still have the Ethernet cable plugged into this. There's one final step that we need to do with the TBS to tell it to use the actual antenna for external connection to LiveTime. I'll show you that here in a second, and then we should be ready to go.
Okay, the next step is to go into TBS EventTracker through the web browser. So I just opened up a browser and went to the 192.168.1.169 address here, logged in, and then you're going to want to click on the Options tab, the second one on the top. What you're going to want to do here is you're going to want to make sure that the checkbox for external timing FTDI is checked. You do not want this one, this existing external timing checked, just the one with FTDI. Once that's done, you're going to want to click Save so that no matter when you unplug or plug back in the EventTracker, that setting will be set. At this point, what I recommend you doing is closing out and unplugging and rebooting the TBS EventTracker. Let it fully power back up and make sure that when it finally powers up all the way, it starts talking immediately to the other antenna. I'll show you that here in a second. And with that, and it's talking, then the last step will be getting LiveTime connected to it just through the antenna.
Okay, I have successfully rebooted I unplugged it and replugged the TBS EventTracker back in. You have to wait for a few moments, maybe a minute or two while it boots up. But eventually what's going to end up happening is that all of TBS is going to be fired up. It's going to connect to this device, but since you've now checked the FTDI option, you're going to notice that it's starting to communicate, and you'll see this red flashing light next to the solid blue one saying that it's constantly sending information out
from TBS EventTracker. That's your signal this thing is outputting what you need. At that point, you should be able to fire up LiveTime and connect to it directly just through the antenna. So I'm going to unplug the Ethernet cable because I don't need that any longer, and I'm going to fire up LiveTime.
Okay, now we're in LiveTime on the computer that the antenna is already plugged into. So now at this point we're going to go to decoders, which is where I'm at already. You click on the decoder icon in the upper right corner, and you'll notice that I have TBS EventTracker already selected. However, it's connected to the Ethernet currently, or at least it's trying to, but it's red, meaning that it's not connected. And that's because we just recently unplugged the Ethernet cable. So now the only way to talk to the EventTracker is through the antenna and through the COM port. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to select this decoder, go to where it says Ethernet, and choose USB serial instead. Make sure to select the right COM port, and you should notice that this goes green and starts talking. So now this is completely talking to the EventTracker, and I'm in the communication tab here going through. This is completely talking through it without Ethernet, so just completely over the air with the antenna. Also, now that it's connected, you can click on the Settings tab, and all of the tuning settings are available. I'm going to plug in a tiny whoop here real quick and just fly it over, and you should see the receiver green light here just to show you that, hey, it's getting something. Okay, green, now it's not. So it's definitely seeing crossings, and you can certainly tune here by just using the sliders and the options that you're already used to doing through an Ethernet connection or through the web interface. You also can use the drop downs here to tune your antennas to any band or channel that you'd like. And that's it. Now with this connected, you are completely able to use the EventTracker through the FTDI to your computer. Give it a go. Let us know what you think, and thanks for watching.